Hey guys, Golf Nerd here. Yesterday I went by Costco to get my wife some of her favorite wine, and I came across these, the all-new 2023 version 2 of the Kirkland Wedge set. So I just had to pick them up to try them out. Now I also got a box of Kirkland balls and a package of gloves because I think I have a problem. Anyway, in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare this version 2 to version 1. We'll take a close look at all the design changes. Then I'll hit some shots and we'll compare the data from the two clubs and just see if there's any difference in performance or sound and feel. But before I do that, I want to let you know there's a link in the description below for Jon Sherman's 4 Foundations of Golf. It's a video series that covers all of the strategies of course management, of the mental game, of how to practice most efficiently. And if you're not familiar with Jon, Jon is the co-host of the Sweet Spot podcast with Adam Young. And Jon is a terrific golfer and has spent years and years researching the best strategies for how to lower your score without changing your technique or working on your swing, just making better decisions, making better use of your time, and keeping your head in the game. So I'd urge you to check that out. Jon's a great guy and he would absolutely love to have your business. So, check that out if you're looking at trying to lower your scores and eliminate some of those big scores that you put down on the card. Now, let's take a close look at V1 versus V2 of these Kirkland wedges. So here we have the two wedges. This is the all-new design. The head shapes are extremely similar. These are the 52 degrees. So this is version 1, this is version 2. And the one thing I noticed is the number of grooves is actually one more groove than the previous version. Now it still has that milled surface, so if you look at that and it's all nice, shiny and clean, hasn't been on the course. I will say these particular wedges do generate a ton of spin, so their face is a great face. I don't think there's going to be any differences, but we'll check that out in a minute. As far as the other design changes, the thing I'm most excited about is if I just grab a hold of both of these and show you the back of the clubs, the design on the back looks way, way better. So here you've got, a larger Kirkland brand on the back. It's also got some milling on the top. You can see, like right here, there's some milling and there's a step right here as well. And then when you go to the new club, the branding is a little smaller. I'd really, really like it if they would black out the signature. I do not like this red signature. I know that's their logo, but I'm not a fan. And then it also says right here that it's their milled technology. Now, if we go to the sole of the club, this is one of the things I was most interested in because I had read that they redesigned the sole and made it to be a more forgiving club. So this guy right here on the right is the old version and the one on the left is the new. You can see towards the toe, the old version actually has a wider sole. So if I put them right next to each other, you can see that little bit of difference there. It's not a huge amount, but the sole on the 52 degree wedge is a little narrower. The one thing I was really hoping they would address, which I think makes this, it's a great club, at least version 1 I think is a really good club. But the reason I don't know that it's a great club for very many golfers is this leading edge is just so sharp. So this 52 degree wedge has 8 degrees of bounce, but this leading edge is just so sharp. If you struggle at all with heavy hits, fat hits, this can really create a problem, especially if you're playing on soft fairways. This guy is going to dig right away. So that's one of the things you need to be concerned about. And then finally, if we look at the bottom of the club, I think they did a really nice job of improving the graphic on the bottom as well. The original, I try to hone in on that a little bit. It's just
kind of ugly. I mean, it's just kind of plain. I don't know. I don't really like it. But I really like how they've improved the graphic on this latest version. I think it looks really good. So those are all the design changes that I found when I was going through the clubs. Everything else looks very much the same. You've still got the same shaft. It's not labeled as a True Temper shaft anymore. It just has the Kirkland branding on it. That's it. And they still use their Kirkland signature grip, which is, essentially like a Tour Velvet type grip. It's fine for a few rounds, but I would strongly suggest that you upgrade the grip. These aren't great grips. I will give a shout out to my personal favorite grip real quick, and you'll see it on this older club. You'll see it when I'm hitting as well. This is the Lamkin Sonar. I really, really like these grips. They last forever, I swear. And as they wear, they don't lose any tack either, which is really cool. So if you're looking for a tacky grip that's not as hard on your hands as, say, like a corded grip, this is a really great grip. So just an aside there. So now let's hit some shots, and I'll give you my feedback on sound, feel, and we'll look at the data to see how it performs V2 versus V1.
Okay guys, I'm going to start off with the first version, the original version. I've got a shot pulled up on GS Pro here. This is the 19th hole at Paynes Valley, a fun little par 3. So I'm just going to hit a couple of shots, let you know how I feel about the club, how it feels, sounds, the backspin rate I get, etc. That first shot had a backspin of 8,400. That backspin was 8,200. And that backspin was 8,000. So let's call it 8,200 for 3 shots with version 1 of the gap wedge, 52-degree wedge. Now let's try version 2. So now I've got version 2. I forgot to mention that I'm using Kirkland version 3 golf balls. It's got a metal dot being read by the Mevo Plus, and that's where I'm getting my spin data. That feeds it directly to GS Pro. That first shot was 8,600. So the old adage about replacing your wedges once a year may be true. We'll see. We'll get another shot. I will say version 1, I played those for 1 season, and then I took them out of the bag because of gapping reasons. If you'd like to know more about that, just hit me up in the comments. That shot was 7,700. The face was 3.5 degrees closed to the path. That's probably why the spin dropped down a little bit. I think that just goes to show that, strike just plays such a huge role in how much spin you're getting on any of these approach shots. That shot was 8,200, probably more in line with what I would expect out of the club. Well, that last shot was 8,100. So they're performing essentially the same. I had that one shot that was a bit of a flyer maybe, that was 8,600. The other ones have been high 7s, low 8s. So I would say that V2 is very, very similar to V1. They did make some improvements to the design. I like how the graphics look better now. I still think it's a fantastic club for the value. It's got great sound and feel. It's got just a very classic wedge shape. You know, some wedges get kind of ugly, and I think Kirkland's wedges, you know, they have a real Vokey look about them. They're just a very classic bladed wedge. So if you're in the market for a bladed wedge, I'd certainly recommend it. And you know, when it's in the bag, because they've cleaned up the top of the club and the markings on it, it really looks like a pretty premium club when it's just sitting in the bag. And it's only when you take it out and you see that red signature of the Kirkland signature logo that I don't really care for. Well, if you got some value out of this video, I'd really appreciate it if you just take a second, hit that like button. It really does help the channel. Well, that's it from the Golf Nerd. Hit 'em long and straight, and I'll see you next time.